Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
It's Soulful Saturday, y'all! Anyone else have that little music stuck in your ear like an earworm? I do. So good to see everyone. Also on YouTube, I might add, which is pretty darn cool. There's my girl Kathy and Lizzie. Hello. It's so good to see you. Amber's in the house. So's Jenny, of course. Hi, Amy. Hi, Sarah. I was almost going to say hi, Soulful, whatever. Anyway, I'm so glad that you're all here. We're starting the sprint on Monday. Are you getting ready? I want everyone to go see Sarah's epic post in our Hot Melt Sprint group because she just put the whole thing down. And I answered her and said, you know what? When you get ready for it like this, you do this kind of planning, it changes everything. And today we're going to be talking about influence because that's the biggest thing. It's the thing that makes us go, I'm going to do this versus I'm going to do that. It does. It can be good or bad. It can be wonderful. It can be evil. I want you to go with that, okay? And Sarah wants to give kisses to my little Lincoln. I'm going to tell you what, that dog has captured my heart like nothing else. It's just ridiculous. I'm over the moon. Can't wait for you to see him. April 2nd, we pick him up. Meanwhile, I will inundate my feed with all kinds of doggy pictures because I can't help myself. I really can't. I'm all over that. Anyway, Debbie's reply has been hilarious. Everybody's reply has been hilarious. Are you a part of the Hot Melt Sprint? You gotta be. Get on it. savingdinner.com/sprint. There, you're gonna get this. You're gonna get the guide. You're gonna get the webinar. You're gonna get everything so that you know exactly what you're doing. You can get prepared. This weekend is absolutely the time to do it because come Monday, you're gonna come roaring in like a lion. That's what I want you to do. Claim your power. Get your vibrancy back. Start the sprint. We start on Monday. Oh, pinkies up. Come on, girls. Let's do this. Couple of things for you. This is the second to last day for the Core 4. Core 4 is the 4 nutrients that most women are missing in their diets. Did you know that? We need all the help we can get. That's why we get the Core 4 going. That's why I always say start there. And I will tell you that the amount of testimonials we've had, unbelievable. Because if you are just starting up in this whole journey or you've always used like say some kind of a crappy drugstore supplement, I'm sorry, but they really are. A lot of them are coated in carnauba wax. Read the label. And your body's not even getting the nutrients out of it. As a matter of fact, I knew a doctor who told me about a guy who owned all these porta potties. And he was trying to convince him, we need to do capsules. And the reason that we do, and the reason we're not doing this crappy junk, drugstore vitamins is because, and the guy stopped him and he said, you don't have to tell me, doc. I own a porta-john company. And when I started, I was emptying those things. I saw a lot of stuff that said the label had the name of whatever it was on it. They go through your whole system whole. You don't absorb them. That's money down the drain, literally. So don't do that. Don't flush your cash, Take good supplements. These are made absolutely for us. Did you know that? For us. They are made and created for us in a manufacturing facility in Ohio, just for us. They're not some crappy white label stuff gathering dust on a shelf. They're made exactly for us. This stuff's fresh. It's potent. It works. It's amazing. So come on down. Go get your Core 4. savingdinner.com/show to go pick them up. You're going to get a discount because you're buying them all 4 at one time. And you're also going to get our fabulous recipes that we have. We have a little ebook recipe bundle, all sprint approved recipes. Come on, especially if this is your first time sprinting or second time or what. I don't want you bored. I want you to be excited about this. It really is exciting. So let's get on that, shall we? The only other thing that I'm going to say is, if you are bound and determined, just held back by cravings and carbs and sugar and whatever form your carbs come in, get some L-glutamine, okay? Just get into the store, buy the L-glutamine. Here it is. This is what it is. It's an amino acid, simple thing. All you do is you take this in its loose form, put it in a little dish, take it, put it on your finger, gums, tongue, cuts off that whole area of the brain that says, go eat the chips, go eat the cookies, go eat the thing, whatever. It stops it. We need that. We need this extra support. That's all. It's extra support. And yes, I do keep it I keep it upstairs in my cupboard for my smoothies because it helps heal your gut. And I keep it downstairs here in my office because we're all prone to this. Can I just say, have an amen from everyone? This is who we are. Isn't it good? Did you see it? Everybody has, a lot of people have seen these and love these new recipes. They're delicious. My goodness. Cheers. Here's to being delicious, right? We have a new quote of the week because it is Soulful Saturday, y'all. You ready? I mean, this is not your basic cosmic 2x4. Most of them are. This is just like, let's glue everything down. That's what I would call this. Picasso said it. Action is the foundational key to all success. He said this. Now, I want you to understand a little bit about Picasso. I don't know if you've ever taken a look and seen, I forgot to put lipstick on. Oh, well, whatever. Picasso was a classically trained artist, and he did, kind of impressionistic, Rembrandt-y kind of, and or Rembrandt kind of looking stuff. I mean, he did some really incredible paintings. And then he bust out on his own, and his influence, which we're talking about today, was just that he wanted people to see things clearly and just things in just a little bit more of an abstract way. You should check it out and check out his earlier art before it became really famous. He was just like everyone else. And then he decided to do this all on his own. Different way of looking at things. That's good. Sarah, that is so brilliant. Sarah just said, I've started using the phrase I'm noticing instead of I want cookies. I'm noticing I want cookies. Yeah, it separates the thought and it to the problem solving and takes back your power. Exactly, because we always have things in it. There's always something that's going to jump out at us. How are we going to react? Our reaction is what's going to be the protraction, if you will, to what we're going to do. And if we're overreacting, we're just saying, well, I'm struggling. I'm powerless. I can't do this. It's not going to help. But if we look at it and we say, this is what's going on. And here are the feelings. Here's the stuff. But I'm going to go do this and distract yourself and go do something else. And what happens usually 99 out of 100 times? You forget about it. That's the best thing ever. And that's why I love this little quote, because action's foundational to all success. Go outside, do something else. Go take a walk. It's amazing. It really is amazing. We have so much power than we think we do. We think we're such pushovers. We think we're just absolutely powerless because there's a bag of, or there's well, for me, I would say, don't go to a Mexican restaurant. They bring chips. Well, guess what? You can tell them not to. We set up our environments. We're the ones who are able to do these things. We are the ones that can control this absolutely at any time. Absolutely at any time. Because can't, never, would, could do anything. I think that's what Marla always says, and it's just 100%. Doesn't do a thing. Jen says cookies and whatever else junk was looking at me, and I chose the trifecta smoothie instead. And I'm just going to give a shout out to Jen because she has just made these leaps and bounds she's been one of my coaching clients. I couldn't be more proud of her. She changed everything, shifted everything. We start with education, then we have to put action behind it, and then we have to decide on our influence, right? What's going to influence us? I heard, or somebody said something on Facebook, or actual science. What's going to influence us? I'm going to stop right there because otherwise I'm going to get into my whole stuff. Oh my goodness, Corliss got her package. Excuse me, I got to correct. Everybody's packages, by the way, have mostly gone out. Just a couple more to go out still. We ran out of almost everything. We were on the phone going, emergency, we need everything. We had no idea the gala would be the way the gala was. So wow, thank you for that. And those of you who are wondering, where is everything? It is on its way. Everything is mostly packed. And there's a few things that we're waiting to just put a couple of things in. Last thing coming aboard is the fiber mender, but just hang in there with us, okay? Quote decks, last of these. They will be gone, I'm sure, this week. Get it. savingdinner.com/quote. What can I say? It's an influence that you want in your life. It's your setup for success. It's always looking you in the face. Don't you love that? Don't you love that? Like, boom, this one. Part of courage is simple consistency, always reminding me that consistency is everything. And I'm going to tell you something too, and you can relate to this. Consistency doesn't mean that we always do everything in a consistent order. You know, we do like first I do this and then I do this and then I do that, ideally. But if something interrupts you, it doesn't mean you throw the whole thing out and say, well, that didn't work. No, it just means you come back to it and you say, okay, now where can I put all of these things in? This happened to me all week this week, all week. But guess what? My consistency, just staying, you know, I can still do this. I've got 10 minutes, I can go do this. I've got 10 minutes here, I can go do that. And I stayed with it. And you know the nice, wonderful thing? I got on the scale, and not only did the scale say that, but I'm down in size in jeans simply by staying consistent with my workout. And the interesting thing is too, and we've had some people asking about the whole thing. I'm telling you on Monday, can I beg and plead with you on something? Please measure yourselves, because I've only lost 3 pounds. I've lost an entire jean size. What does that tell you? It's all the strength training I've been doing and the power walking and the biking. All of that works. Oh, that's so sweet. Jen gave her mom some skincare. What a sweetheart. That is so sweet. I mean, we need that, right? Loving up our skin. The mugs are also on short order, but we've got new ones coming in. But if you want this one, get it now. savingdinner.com/mug. You can learn why a mindful mug is an influence, yes, in your life, and how it can do that for you. You can either buy it straight out and just say, fine, I want it, get it. You can do that. You can get it for half off, or you can get it free. In this post, it's going to tell you all about it and why it is such a good, influential thing to have around you. You know, we all need it. Q&A's Friday. Don't forget, we had some good questions this time. Did you enjoy Q&A yesterday? I sure did. Send them into support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday is in your subject line, and I will answer it this Friday. I've done my hair a couple of times, haven't I? On people have asked questions about my hair. Like I said, no questions off limits. If it is, I'll let you know. Yeah, aren't we excited for Lizzie? She's moving to a state near me. I need to see Lizzie because I love where she's moving. Mm-hmm. Vicki got hers. Good. Vicki got her package in the mail as well. I love it. I love it. And I also love this subject. We're going to be talking about this all week, really, because I think influence is something that we don't really consider influence that much. And, the interesting part about influence is both a noun and a verb. It influences everything, heart, mind, body, and soul. It really does. It influences our belief system. It influences the way we think. It influences what goes into our environment. It influences what we like and don't like. Everything is influence. And on a negative side, we see all these, what do you call them? Instagram model /influencers and stuff. And there's all of that. And why do they do this? Why do companies pay big money to these, little people who are doing these things? Because they are literal influencers who will absolutely help this company make some big bank. It's interesting. Influence is everything. It is foundational, and it starts with all of it. All of it. You love it when Q&A turns into show and tell. Oh, but there's always the pajama party. That will be definitely show and tell. By the way, mark your calendars. I believe that's March 26th. Jenny will correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to have a prize for the best pajamas, by the way. So game on. All right. And as kids, do you remember this? As kids, when when you brought somebody to your house or something, a new friend, your parents were always wondering, what kind of an influence will this kid be on my kid? You know, because one of the things that happens is bad influence is more powerful, unfortunately, than good influence. So if you've got if you've got someone who you want your child to be a good influence to, that's putting a big burden on them. You know, they don't quite have the gumption, shall we say, from doing that. What they need is you need to make sure that you've got good influences around you, in your environment, with the people you hang out with. That's why we're always talking about being in the Hot Melt Sprint community. It's influential. It's one of the reasons why I'm always talking about watch the science. Science is influential because there's something behind it. You know, don't just read some dumb magazine in the hairdressers and say, well, I read somewhere, because that's not science. That's a dumb magazine in the hairdresser salon. You know, how many times have we read that and we take it home and we're influenced by that, and it's influencing our decision on what we eat and what we do. Food is influence. Big time, because you know why? Food is information for your body on what it's going to do. Is it going to inflame you or is it not? Is it going to feed you or is it not? What is it? And I will tell you, food is black and white. There's one or there's the other. You can't get an in-between neutral food, you know? No, there is no such thing. It's either going to hurt you or it's going to help you. Bingo, that's it. Feed you or just fatten you, right? Because food is information. It is influencing your body's everything about your body. It's got functionality in it. It's feeding mitochondria or not. It's either giving your messengers, all the hormones in your body, information so that it can go do the work it needs to do, or it's not. And we know what it feels like to be racked with pain, to be sluggish and tired, to have just no energy for anything, and just even kind of being depressed and not wanting to get off the couch. Influence is it. Influence, influence, influence. And Amber's absolutely right. She said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true. They influence you. They influence the way you believe. They influence the things that you do. Influence is everything. So it's things, events, people, memories. Memories all influence us. Until we decide that we're going to be influenced by the right things, until we decide to put a filtration system up inside of us and not just let every thing come along. So let's get into this whole thing then, right? Our belief systems, our decision, even our decisions, where are we going to live? I mean, Jenny just moved, is going to be moving to Montana. What influenced that decision? And she will tell you right now, like big number of factors. Homeschooling being one of them, and affordability and whatever. I mean, she's got her own thing. I'm not going to speak for Jenny, but we make decisions about where we're going to move. I made a decision to move here by a lake because this was the lifestyle we wanted to have. This is where I wanted to have retreats. It met the criteria of influence. So we are either conformed by influence, or we're conformed in a good way, or we're conformed in a bad way. We have to always take a look, examine what the heck is going on, and make a decision. And then there's that word confluence, which I love, which, one of the ways that you can use the word confluence, it's kind of an influence and connector, is, like when 2 people get married, it's a confluence of 2 good families, it's a confluence of this. But in geographically speaking, a confluence is when 2 rivers come together. And I like to think about this in the terms of the power that 2 rivers have coming together. So we use this, I believe we use a confluence of all kinds of things, of science, when we're doing the sprint, because it's taking down the inflammation, it's jacking up the ability for your body's hormones to work, and it's giving your body the information that it needs. And then you are doing some of this work by not just what's on the end of your fork, but moving yourself, hydrating, and getting enough sleep. And what happens when we have this confluence of all this influence? We start to get the results we really want. That's what happens. So we just all need to remember this, that influence is everywhere. And whether we know it or not, we're picking it up. And we need to put our filtration system on high alert and decide yes or no. I had a question the other day. Somebody was asking me, what do you think about this? There's somebody had read somewhere, I don't know, or saw on television, they were saying, yeah, intermittent fasting isn't all that anymore. And I always say, go read the science on where did they get this from, and go follow the money and find out where that all came from too. Because honestly, I just don't understand how all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after hundreds of new blind placebo studies and all this other stuff that they've done, that suddenly it's just not all that. I think it's just to make headlines and to influence people in a negative way, because it's sort of like getting a women's magazine. This is how you lose all this weight and look like the bikini model on the front, and then on the sidebar there, they've got a big piece of luscious looking cake. Come on. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, there you go. The Grand Canyon was formed by the confluence of rivers. Exactly. And see what it did? Look at the beauty that was the result. It's so true. It is so true. So how do we do this then? How do we take influence into our life? How do we, when we know all of this, we understand the whole factor of what influence is and what it does, how do we then take this in and put this into our world? Well, the first thing is that we invite the influence in that we want, period. We do this with our friends, Hot Melt Sprint community, hello. We ask, we bring people in, we do things that make sense. They call that in psychological circles social proof. When we're trying to get people like, do you think this way? Or what do we think? We gather together in churches with a bunch of like-minded people. It's all the same thing because the influence is the same. But there's also a negative part of that. And that is when we're gathering influence by saying, do you believe this? Is anyone else? Because we're not listening, we don't have enough belief in ourselves. Isn't that sad? But it happens. So sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good. Yeah, I mean, how are you doing? Anybody else feel really good? Or is anybody else not liking this? Or isn't it hard? Anybody else struggling? Get on my struggle bus so we can all commiserate together. What does that do? Bad influence. It takes us down. Instead of saying, hey, got any tips to help me? Because right now, it's a little tough. I'm not feeling my best. What can you do to help me out? You see the difference. We don't want to invite the influence in to commiserate with. We don't need commiseration, y'all. We really don't. What we need are solutions. When we have our mind toward problem solving instead of problem hand-wringing and just getting into it and talking about it incessantly, we trigger in our brain this whole thing of bringing people in to either support or to take us down. It's not going to be supportive to have a bunch of other people commiserating, because then you're just going to walk away and say, well, there it is. Where are those Oreos? Let's raid the pantry and go eat the stuff that I said I wasn't going to eat. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why we need that filtration system and decide on what the influences are going to be in our lives, to take it a step further, to plan, to look for the science, to do the things that work, because, anybody can say, hey, I feel awful and everything. And everybody can jump in and say, yeah, me too. It's awful. But the thing is, we can at any time change that whole thing up and declare that we're looking for solutions. That's a huge influence. Solution-oriented thinking will influence the way you do life, 100%. You can stay in that little cesspool of anyone else, or you can jump out of it and say, hey, I need help. Big difference. Number 2, Robert Cialdini wrote a book called Influence, and in it, I love this quote. He says, the greatest number of people who find an idea correct, the more the idea will be correct. Now, again, good or evil. That's how the Holocaust happened, by the way, was just, people started to buy in, to all this evil. But it's also how people buy into, gosh, this person needs help. We've seen this. There's been platforms, made to help people, like GoFundMe's, like, how many people, I mean, I've given to so many GoFundMe's for somebody who needed money for burial expenses, somebody who needed help with a procedure their insurance company wouldn't help with. There are things that we can do with that kind of influence, but we've got to be, again, very discerning. And when we pull discernment out and we start to realize and recognize that anything that comes our way is not okay to go in, it'll keep us from, like baseless conspiracy theories, all kinds of evil, and it'll keep us also in the whole realm of being problem solvers and not just problem, hanger-oners. That's what happens. We get stuck. So the other thing is number 3 is we create our own influence by what we do in our own environments. This is why I'm always harping on you, get a quote deck. This is why I'm telling you, get a mindful mug and understand what this is about. These are tools that not only set up a creative and a constructive environment to support the life you want to lead, but they influence you on what you do. It makes a decision. If you grab this mug and you're looking at that first thing in the morning, it's going to help a very tiny little thing go off in your head to influence you to do the right thing. That is amazing. And that is how we do these things incrementally. It's a gentle process, but it works. It works. Yeah, problem hand-wringing versus problem solving is a great visual image. It's my mother. I always see my mother. My mother, everything made her fretful. Everything. If it didn't go just right, I mean, if she was having a package delivered at noon and it wasn't there, she would be just, I don't know what to do, and I think I need to call, and oh my gosh, Leanne, and she'd get on the phone that was exactly the tone of her voice. The woman, I loved her I just loved her, but she didn't have a process for dealing with things. There was either nothing or just absolute explosion. And it was really tough to live with. I will tell you, as a kid, I remember thinking everything in the world is wrong. I just remember that because she was always so wound up from everything. And if we do that, what happens, what we're telling our body? Cortisol, just destroy me. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Because stress rules the day. That's an influence that you don't want in your body because it'll ruin your sleep, it'll ruin your health, it'll ruin your thoughts, it'll ruin everything because we are heart, mind, body, soul. It's why we don't, just look at the genes. And number 4 is that your habits directly create influence, which in turn turns out and creates your identity. It's all part of the whole process. It's part of the same equation. James Clear, I love him. He wrote Atomic Habits. Great book. You should read it. He said, power is influence over external events. Peace is influence over internal events. Don't you love that? Right on. And we need both. We need power to, create our environments and power to really curate our environment and what is happening in our lives. But we also need peace inside. And we can have that influence over everything if we make that decision. We can. When we make a decision that we are going to be mindful and have a filtration system over the influence in our lives, we get to do that. We're all being influenced at all times. When they run a television commercial, which, by the way, shout out, for sidebar, to my son. My son's commercial has been on TV, and a new one is on there too, where they show it's Jeep commercial where they sell a bunch of different sports guys, and you'll see him for a minute on a kayak. That's it. Not even a minute, a second. But hey, he gets paid for it. That's what I care about. And then the other one, of course, when he's kayaking and driving the red Jeep. That's my son. But, again, that's what commercials are for. They're there to influence. What do you think that commercial's about? They're influencing the sports-minded guys out there that you can be as cool as these guys if you have this vehicle. You can go do kayaks like that, kayaking like that. They're so great. Corliss was asking, we ran out, Corliss, we will send you one if you want. Just send it in to support at Saving Dinner. But we ran out of these. I'll get you one. They're like $1. You can find them. You can find them anywhere. I got them on Amazon, by the way. Now, I want to also mention too that the diet industry gets it when it comes to influence. And this is why I call it the Carousel of Crazy, because that's exactly, they've got you where they want you. Think about it. They want you to believe that you are less than unless your jeans are a certain size. They want you to believe that you are less than you follow their plan to the letter. They want you to believe all this stuff about you, that if you take this pill, it's going to be magic. If you do this, it's going to be magic. If you want to have this, life, you better wear these size jeans. This is why we are who we are. This is why we do the things that we do. And this is why the Daily Dish is bringing vibrancy back into your life, because it's heart, mind, body, and soul. You're way more than your jean size, than your lipstick color, which I don't even have on today. You're way more than all of these things, because you're a unique, incredible woman put here by God himself. Put here by God himself. And if you think about that and you just dwell on that kind of influence, you're going to just feel really like, wow, there's something here, and there is a purpose for you here. It's your life's work to figure out what that is. Somehow you're going to help someone by doing something that's unique, that you are uniquely qualified to do. But watch for your influence, because it'll take you off track. Watch who and what and how you're being influenced. Don't allow the diet industry to take you out. I don't want that. My whole hope is that you graduate from having to have me harp on you, but stay in my community and help others, right? This is how it's reciprocal. You have the opportunity to influence and to help always. And this is what we're about. This is what we do. So your vibrancy is dependent on your understanding of who you are and who your identity is. I said it the other day, of who you are and whose you are. We have to remember this. And influence is all around us at any time, trying to take us down. The influence that you want in your life is the thing that is going to build you up. The words, the environment, the food, the people, everything is an influence in your life. And when you understand that, it is well with your soul. You do get the peace. And just exactly what James Clear said, power is influence over external events. Peace is influence over internal events. You can live a life that is on purpose, with worth, with meaning, because you have so much worth and have so much meaning. You're not just here taking up space, breathing air. You're here on purpose for a reason. Remember whose you are. Got that? All right. There's my girl, Vanessa. Inflow Crusher is pretty much the magical pill. I've got Mark on it. And by the way, can I ask you for a little prayer? He is a volunteer fireman. I think I've told you this. Today he's in an old quarry, and they're rappelling up and down these huge cliffs and doing things. And it's just, he's 65, but he doesn't look it, and he's in shape and all of that. It doesn't matter. He's rappelling up and down these huge cliffs, and I don't like it. So I've just been silently praying for him every day, all day, and I just ask you to do that too, if you would. I appreciate it. It is well with my soul too. That's very good, Sarah. Thanks for that one. I appreciate you all, by the way. Peace be with you. And I will see you on Monday. Don't forget, take advantage of our Core 4. That good deal is going away tomorrow. So go to savingdinner.com/show and go get them. Love you guys. Peace be with you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.